Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Champagne Sharks, we have Vita with us. We're going
Yes.
to talk about miscellaneous stuff. I'm going to show you a clip, Vita. It's pretty interesting. You might have seen it going out around already because it's gone viral. Have you seen the clip of this show, Ginny and Georgia?
No.
Um, you know what? Let me just finish tagging up this.
Yeah, I don't know who Jenny or Georgia is.
I'll show it to you real quick. Hold on. Hopefully they don't give us a hard time about this because they're all weird with the they're weird a lot with the copyright stuff. But real quick, while I'm setting that stuff up, why not get the because not a lot of people are here yet, so I'll just do the house cleaning. Um, for people hit the super chat if they're enjoying the stream. And real quick, I want to let's see. I want to talk about. Okay, here we go. I have like so many tabs open. I hope it doesn't crash the. Okay, I'm just letting people know we're about to live stream about Ginny and Georgia and this awful scene about Russian Olympics. Check it out here. We have a. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing again. So yeah, if you can just keep talking, I have a thread going
Yeah.
viral like right now.
Well, I think I've seen something about it. I feel like I did see it, but I'd have to watch it again to remember. But I'll give a shout out to the people that are in the chat right now. So
Oh,
thank you
please
to
do.
everyone who's joining us right now. I sound info, Colonel COVID Gaddafi, question mark, Outlaw, Rock the Mic, Jin K's, um, 2008 B. Scott Harlow, and it looks T, you went viral recently. Harlow said you went viral for the
Yeah,
oddest thing.
yeah, it's going viral for a weird thing, and we're gonna talk about it now. I found out why. One of those like right wing media people that hates like SJWs saw what I was uh, tweeting about. Um,
Um,
yeah, so I guess they think that I'm on. You know, sometimes when you make fun of these like black social justice warrior types, a lot of
mhm.
times like the white supremacist types, like think you're on their side and stuff. So they're all. But I'll explain it. I'll explain it right now, so you'll be able to see. Give me a second. But yeah, how many people we have in here so far?
Not a lot, like 18.
Okay.
They're coming in slowly. So
Well,
iSound Info said, I think it was iSound Info said that us not coming on at a regular time is violence.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything is violence. You're not gonna fully get the joke because you're not on Clubhouse. We're on Clubhouse. Uh, and here's the thing. I really think that Clubhouse has been like, that brain drain where like, uh, you know, a certain company or a country like takes the best and the brightest from a country or something, and they call it like brain drain. I
Mhm.
feel like I feel like Clubhouse has a drain, which is like the most draining people on Twitter are being taken to Clubhouse because Clubhouse is just pure drama and social justice types and divestors nonstop. There's just an insane amount of divestors on there, and
Yeah.
and I feel like it's gotten like slightly better on Twitter since it's. But now Clubhouse is like unbearable. Like they found a new way to kind of just annoy people, and all day long people are fighting on Clubhouse. So you're not going to believe this. Somebody lost their job today off of Clubhouse.
You said that was going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I did call it.
You
I said
said
somebody.
that you called that a while ago.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. I did call that. Yeah. Well, it came true. Uh, but it was slightly different than the way I predicted it. But close. I predicted someone's gonna be on it so much that they were gonna be missing work or be on Zoom calls and muting the Zoom call and talking on Clubhouse. This was a little bit different. What happened is that this guy was, and he was someone who's usually pro-black and usually very pro-black woman and whatever, but he's like a New York dude. He's a little rough around the edges, a little bit. So he was talking about, that's my bitch. I'm down with these, which is, some people might not like that. Some people might be like, I don't.
Who's his bitch?
Well, he was talking about, he was using bitches as interchangeable with women, but he wasn't, kind of like how rappers do, but he wasn't like saying bitch pejoratively, like, hey, you're a bitch. He was kind of talking about.
But who is he talking about?
Oh, he was just talking about, I wasn't there, so I'm getting the second hand. I saw the aftermath, but apparently he was referring to the women on stage as that, but they were his friends. And they weren't taking offense. So, it was like, yeah, you're my bitch, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then one of these, like, I guess feminist social justice types went up there and was like, I don't like you using the word bitch to, talk about these women and stuff. But the women themselves weren't like complaining.
I mean, if that's their friend and that's how they speak, why would they complain?
Yeah. What started happening was that from people who were there, women, everyone who saw it agreed the same thing, where she just kept trying to antagonize him and push his buttons and do whatever. So apparently, like, he lost it on her and told her, stop trying to bully him or disrespect him or whatever. And then today she found and called his job and got him fired.
That is shady.
Oh, yeah, she got him fired.
Disgusting.
Then apparently she came into the room again while he was venting about getting fired, and he was really pissed. And then she was like trying to push his buttons again, and he was in a bad mood. So today he actually was talking like really bad. He was like, I'm sick of black women. I'm tired of y'all. Don't ask me to stick up for y'all anymore. I don't want anything to do with y'all. Because on the app in general, like, these divestors and feminists have been making rooms all day bashing black men anyway. So I think people are already kind of on edge. And a lot of women there on the edge too. And he was like, I'm sick of it. I just always stick up for black people and black women all day long. And this is how I get treated. I got to log onto this app. And all day long, there's just room after room talking about how terrible black men are, how rapey. So just don't come in my rooms anymore. I don't want anything to do with black women or pro-black anything. This, that. I don't like a lot of y'all people playing both sides. You're friends with me, but you're friends with people like this. And you're always like, trying to make excuses for them and all this stuff. So the whole day, everything on Clubhouse was like, so I haven't really been going on it really, because it's just.
That's pretty. I mean, well, this is my thing. What he said in response is still fucking dumb. I don't care what you think.
It is.
Like, I've been through a lot of shit at the hands of black men, and I would still never say I'm through with black men and fuck black men and all this.
100% agree.
Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, there's no logic to that. Like, there's no way you can explain that away to me. There's no way to do that. But I do understand him being angry, and specifically angry at her. Because it wasn't black women that got him fired. A black woman got him fired. A chick who's nuts, who happened to be a black woman, got him fired. It wasn't black women all came together and we all were all in agreement, or the majority of us were in agreement that, he should be fired from his job. So I never take that shit. Like, people try to give me that bullshit. Not saying you were doing that at all, because I know you weren't.
Oh no, I was just describing what he said. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I just really hate when people try to give me bullshit excuses as to why they have issues or they hate, their counterparts, male or female.
Even if you talk about the whole group, they still don't represent all black women, because most of the black women on there can't stand them either, to be honest. It's not like.
You can't go to a space where all the people who think alike congregate and then say they represent the whole. That doesn't make any sense. That's like me saying black people love to go skydiving, but I'm going to a club for black skydivers and saying,
Yeah,
look, these black people who love skydiving. Black people must love skydiving because you're at the fucking skydiving event with black people.
yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I'm tweeting it out now. So it's tweeted out. And I'm just gonna mention it on the Discord. But yeah, what I want to talk about, there's a show called Ginny and Georgia. It's one of those Netflix shows, so it looks
Okay,
terrible.
I did see the clip, but yeah,
Oh, you saw the clip, yeah.
I
So
saw the clip.
yeah, Ginny and Georgia is one of those Netflix shows, and Netflix shows are like terrible. There are, and the thing about Netflix shows that makes them so bad is that they're not bad enough. And what I mean by that is they're not so they're not so bad that you can like have a fun hate watch with it. Really, it's
No, it's just bad.
yeah. It's but it's just good enough a lot of the times to make you watch the whole thing, which is what I really hate about Netflix shows.
Mm.
So uh, they'll be just good enough that you'll just be like, let me just see how this shit ends. And then you get to the end, and you never like, man, I'm glad I finished it. It's always like I could have really stopped after the first episode. You know, that's how I feel about Netflix shows.
Yeah, I'd start them and I never finish them. Like
Good
I
for
think
you.
this is a Netflix show. I think it is. I always also I mix up my streaming services and what shows come on what, but it was called Imposters or
Oh yeah, that one. Okay.
it's it's good, but it's horrible at the same time.
Oh, I love that show. That show is a guilty pleasure for me.
But
It's
you understand what
bad.
I mean?
Yeah, but that's a fun bad. Like I never regret watching that show. That show is like bad,
Because
but
it
it
gets
knows.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know what's good about that one? It knows it's bad. That's what I like about it. Like you
Oh,
can tell when they're
okay.
making it. Like this is my problem with regular Netflix show because that's not really a Netflix show. That was a show that aired somewhere else. They just bought it, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Is that why they have like weird accents? Because that girl has like the weirdest accent. It's
Oh,
not American,
she's from Israel, but she's trying to sound American.
and she sounds horrible.
The one that like Maddie, whatever her name is.
Yeah, the main
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. She's like from Israel or something. I looked her up, but you know what's Netflix? What makes Netflix bad is that their shows are like almost public access or CW quality in writing, but they try to make them look like prestige TV, like so they have like this pacing and the look of everything of like The Wire or something, but the actual quality is like Riverdale or Gossip Girl, but like the worst seasons. You know what I'm saying?
I've never seen Gossip Girl. I don't know.
Oh, this is a good. Where Netflix shows are like shows you would see someone watching in a movie, like the bad show within a show. That is a great
That
way.
makes sense. I
Yeah.
think that's accurate. That show You isn't that also a Netflix show? I've seen You.
Oh yeah. Well, the first season, right? You was on Lifetime. That was Lifetime's
Oh, okay, okay.
foray into original programming, and what's crazy was it didn't do that good, and they canceled the show, and then Netflix bought it from them and reran it, and it crushed. So I'm sure Lifetime is like pissed, but
Oh,
and
I
then
didn't even know that.
and then Netflix made a second season of it that they produced themselves. But
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it started off bad. I don't think I finished it because I was like in LA.
yeah, yeah. The second season was in L.A. The first season was in New York. One thing that's funny about that first season took place in New York, and I think they like did some of it on location or something, but it they have like two location scenes. Like I don't know if they didn't have any money or what, but it's in such a narrow corner of New York. It's like 3 blocks basically. The whole thing takes place, and a couple of other locations. But I don't know if they only shot in New York for a limited time, so they just shot on location in like 3 main places, and then went back to LA to shoot on sound stages or whatever. But at least with the LA one, I feel like they're taking advantage of LA more. Whereas in New York, it's the smallest New York you can imagine. Well, you saw season 1, right?
Yeah, I know. I did see season one, and I'm thinking about it. You're right because it does look. It doesn't really show you New York. It just shows you this sort of pocket, and even then, you don't feel like you're in New York. But the funny thing about what you're saying though is that people from LA, I never watched the second season. I forgot why, or I think I watched the first episode and I didn't get into it. But I remember people talking about it, and all the LA natives hated it. I don't remember why, but they all hated it. They said, "Why do they always show LA like this?" And you know,
Yeah, it makes LA look very stereotypical. Although to be fair, it makes New York look very stereotypical as well. It's like this is what it's trying to see. It's trying to be like a kind of like a Dexter or kind of like an American Psycho. American Psycho
right.
had a lot of '80s excess commentary in it. You know, with the business cards and the Wall Street and the greed is good type of era. This is kind of trying to do that. So it kind of makes fun of like the New York literary scene and all that stuff, if you remember, and how MFA programs work. It's a very niche type of satire. And then when they went to LA, they were really trying to spoof influencer culture. So if you were to watch it, you would think the whole thing is you would think LA is just about influencers. So it's all about like influencers, yoga, Whole Foods type of stuff, fake people in the movie industry. So
Oh, okay. That's so I totally get because that's what they always show about LA, and nobody ever shows you LA ever.
yeah.
Like you've never seen LA. Like there are very few shows that I think show you LA at all. You pretty much never seen LA if you if you watch TV. So I
Oh
tell people that all the time.
oh yeah, and the way that the way that they did it too. It's but to be fair, like both seasons are very like stereotypical because the way it depicts New York
Oh,
is
absolutely.
yeah. But what didn't bother me about it was I'm like they're talking about a certain slice of white privileged New York, so I didn't really take it, even though it is harsher in LA because I think it really I feel like the New York season is more making fun of certain types of people, but the
Mhm.
LA season more makes it seem like LA itself is the character it's making fun of, you know?
Oh, okay.
So I can
Yeah,
see what,
see, I
yeah.
don't. I could see LA people not liking it. I always look to see, but if there are white LA people that don't like something, like natives, then I know that it's really bad because they're not as sensitive as I think even black people are. Because because we're usually very protective of South Central, what they call South LA, Inglewood,
Yeah.
Compton. So we're very protective of that. So when I see white people mad, LA white people, LA natives that are white get mad, then I'm like, okay, there must be something really specifically wrong with the overall picture of LA if they're that mad, as opposed to just them shitting on South Central or something.
Oh wow, yeah, and yeah. One thing I'll say about them, they stayed away from Black LA. They didn't even try to touch it.
That's
So
fine. Leave us alone.
yeah. So
Because all they're gonna do is show like how Entourage did it, which really pissed me off. It was like turtles going to the hood. Oh my god, to go see and mind you, and then to go date Lauren London, who's from fucking Palisades, and nothing about her is South Central. Like nothing.
oh wait, she was in Entourage. I forget. I've seen every
Yeah,
episode.
she dated Turtle, but I think she was rich. But they
Oh,
kind of made it look like she was kicking it with like, yeah, I don't remember all the details. I remember her. She was in it. Then
that is
I
one
don't. Few
show that
times they went
ages
to the hood.
badly.
They always make it look like just horrible. They
That
never.
is yeah, that is one show that ages badly. Entourage. I cannot rewatch that show at all. It's so of the moment and like
I've
it
only
ages like room temperature milk to me.
see. I didn't watch it when it was out. I watched it
Oh,
way later, and I thought
oh,
it was okay. I thought you thought it was well, story wise, it wasn't the greatest, but I liked the characters of the friends.
the first couple of seasons were okay, but it should have stopped like after season 2 or 3. Like it did not need to go on as long as
It
it
did
did. It
go on
was
all the time.
very repetitive. Like, oh no, Vince's career is in trouble. This is the one last movie that might save him. Is this
And
the end of Vince? It's a hit. It's like, come on, everyone is a flop. Just I found info and some other people in the room know about what's going on. So he said,
oh yeah,
I haven't seen him recently. I think he stopped, but yeah, he was going on this place and he kept getting angry and mouthing off. And a lot of people were saying, yo, just don't come on here right now. And he was getting baited. They kept baiting him to more arguments. And people were like, they're going to record you. They're going to get you in more trouble. And now you actually sound as crazy as they were trying to paint you the first time. So now they're going to say, oh, he was always talking this crazy. So one guy was a lawyer and even told him, look, chill, don't do this. They lied on him a second time. One girl baited him into an argument again, then started another room and did more lies. So yeah, he was getting baited into nonsense too much. And
See, you can't fall for that shit. They can't do
yeah,
that to you all the time. And sometimes I really do be getting upset at certain shit, but because like I don't know if you guys, I think I told you guys, somebody tried to get me fired from my job off of Twitter.
oh, word? Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about it, and I talked about how I had a friend, the same thing almost happened to her.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
these
these people out
people.
here lunatics, and the thing that's so crazy is they're the lunatic. Like, like they'll start the problem.
Do you know what this is about?
What do you think about what Charleston White said about Kevin Samuels? Who the hell is Charleston White?
Yeah, I don't know
I
either.
have no clue
We
who
can
that
look
is.
we can look that up and talk about it later. But here is the actual thing in question for people who are wondering. This is the clip. Did you see this at all?
Yes, I did see this.
Hold on. Is there sound? I forgot to check if I hit sound. I might have forgotten. Tell me if you hear
No,
sound.
a little bit. Turn it up.
Okay, so it needs to be turned up. Okay.
It's very, very low.
Yeah, it sounds pretty low, but this is maximum volume. Let's see. I want to talk about this scene.
You don't get it. You are closer to white than I'll ever be. Together we make a whole white person. Your favorite fruit is cheeseburgers, and I know more Mandarin than you. You're barely even Asian.
Sorry, I'm not Chinese enough for you. But I've never seen you pound back jerk chicken. Last time I checked, Brody twerks better than you. And I liked your poem, but your bars could use a little more work, homie. So really, how black are you then? What? Literally? What? Because we're gonna play that game. Let's do it. Professionally.
Can they hear it?
Go.
One, you
Yeah, so I mean that's getting an Emmy for sure.
If they can't hear it, they can't hear it. It's really,
Oh, they
really,
can't hear. Were you able to hear it, Vita?
it's really low, like very low.
Damn.
Maybe,
And
maybe
unfortunately,
see,
this is as loud as it gets. Hold on. I'm gonna try one more thing. I have one more way this might work. Hold on.
because I really think they should hear it.
Yeah, but you could hear it, right? They just can't.
I could hear it, but
Very
it
low.
was extremely low.
Yeah, that's the
And it
problem.
helps that I already saw it, so I kind of, my brain probably fills in some shit.
Why is it so low? I'm gonna try something else. Hold on.
You want to send me the link and see if I can do it?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. But I got a feeling it's gonna be the same problem, but let's see, because the problem is
Oh, it might be the clip itself.
I think it's the clip itself because I put it at maximum. I have a special thing here that might do it. The only problem is it might make an echo. But let's see.
See if you mute yourself, if it'll still make it echo.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good idea. Let me do that.
David Gonzalez says we're just gonna have to reenact it. I don't even think we're that bad where we can reenact it. It's honestly, oh man, Poon Daba said it's honestly better when I can't hear the dialogue. By the way, did we thank our donor, our super chat person?
I didn't notice. Did somebody do a super chat and I missed it?
Yeah. So Rock the Mic said, "Yo, T, I was in that room, bro. I never felt the culture was in trouble till now."
Oh man, the culture isn't so much. I don't even think it's a culture anymore. I don't
I
know
want
what.
to say, I think we lost it. The internet kind of fucked all that shit up. Along when I see people like 6ix9ine and Bad Bobby or Baby, whatever her name is.
Okay, see if this is any better. It might echo, but let's see.
you don't get it.
Way
You are
better.
closer to white than I'll ever be.
Together we make a whole white person.
Your favorite fruit is cheeseburgers, and I know more Mandarin than you do. You're barely even Asian.
Sorry, I'm not Chinese enough for you. I've never seen you pound back jerk chicken. Last time I checked, Brody twerks better than you. And I liked your poem, but your bars could use a little more work, homie. So really, how black are you then?
Excuse me?
Excuse
What?
me.
Literally, what? Because if we're gonna play that game, let's do it. Oppression Olympics. Let's go.
Now, I'm gonna say,
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. That guy is a great actor. I mean, he committed to that thing because that was some of the worst dialogue. She's acting on the level of the dialogue, but this dude, you know, the kind of worker that whether it's a shit job or a great job, they work just as hard. Like this guy committed. Like look at his face. He's like,
Yeah,
oh, this is like
I'll
Lawrence
give you
Arabia.
that.
Yeah, I give it. It was
At
horrible.
the end, I can see it. In the beginning, he was just as bad as her.
Yeah. Maybe he believes in the work. I don't know, but
Okay, so that whole clip, like the thing that's so crazy is he out of nowhere just starts saying all this racist shit, and then says Oppression Olympics, let's go. And I'm like, wait a minute, what does that have to do with Oppression Olympics? You just took a bunch of stereotypes and said them to her.
well, they said them to each other. In that, what happened was he's supposed to be half Asian, half white. So in the beginning of the clip, she's calling him out for being inauthentically Asian. That's what she's saying. Oh, your favorite food is cheeseburgers. That's, you know, if you're Asian,
Right.
I guess you're supposed to like, which is stupid because I know plenty of full-blooded Asian people whose
Everybody
favorite,
eats cheeseburgers.
yeah, in America, you know what I'm saying? I guess they're like dating and they're both half white, and they're calling each other out for being inauthentically black or inauthentically Asian, or for
Right.
being too white. Then that's supposed to be his clapbacks. Her first, even though I think his ended up being harsher than hers because you know, whatever, what the fuck ever. But
Well, because
it's
she said
so
you don't eat a hamburger and then whatever, as opposed to whatever she said, and then it kind of just ended there. He just kept talking about you can't twerk, and then said something about your bars, homie. First of all, I'm trying to figure out what race is she? Because jerk chicken is Jamaican, and what did he say? What
well,
was the last thing he said?
I guess they're combining all black stuff. So okay, because the dumb thing about
Did
that
I
is
ask
you
for
can
a
be
black
black.
chick? He just found all of it and put it all.
Yeah, and it makes no sense because that would be like if he was Chinese and she was like, "You don't even eat sushi, and your Thai food cooking sucks." It's like, wait, what? I'm Chinese. So yeah, it's weird. Like as far as I know, she's not like twerking and jerk chicken. Like Jamaicans like have that whining dance, but it's not the same as twerking. They're very similar, but you know, I feel like twerking is more American. But yeah, so he's just throwing everything out there. I'm surprised she didn't go worse. Like you can't even do math. You know, it's just something stupid, but it's really bad writing. So it was going viral. It's like 40,000 likes, 18,000 retweets. Everyone's, you know, people say I'm done with Netflix, and then the usual like stan crowd, like you know, he's like a cartoon avatar and stuff like that. The kind of people that types SKS, whatever, blah, 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 when they're
What does that
typing.
mean when people write that?
That means like they're laughing, but I guess they're laughing so hard they're mashing the keys.
Oh,
That's what they're trying to say and stuff. You know, he puts. I don't have to check to know white women wrote this. So
yeah,
you
I
see
saw
that?
that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
when
I
I saw that, I was like, I know a white woman didn't write that. That is a BuzzFeed Blavity back. I will bet anything that a white person didn't write that. Because I think white people would be too scared to do that. They even if they sign
Why
up
does
on it.
it sound blavity black? It does sound like white women wrote it. Because I can't even imagine a black. Because I feel like a blavity black person would have came up with better lines than jerk chicken and twerking.
Oh, you have way more faith in them than I do. No, I think they would totally do that.
Some of them aren't bad writers. They're just terrible, corny, cheesy people. If they,
Oh, I think they're bad writers personally.
I
I
would
don't
say,
know.
I don't know. Some of them are. I'd say some, not all of them are. There's a couple decent ones.
Like okay, I'll give. Let me see if I can find an example, right, of what I think bad Blavity writing is, like written by Blavities. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this clip. But is it on there? Um, what's that clip on Insecure where it's the early seasons where Molly and Issa meet up with each other, and it's like, are you blooping? I'm blapping. I'm blooping, blamming, and blapping. And I was like, oh god,
Oh
that's
yeah, that was
terrible.
bad. I do remember that.
Yeah, to me that reminds me of blooping, blapping, and blamming. Like that. That's what that reminds me of.
So let me clarify something because
Hmm?
I can see already you guys have completely misunderstood what I was saying. I don't believe in them. That's not at all what I was saying. I was saying that there's a few out of 100 that aren't that bad, and I think if they have better materials to work with or weren't told to write certain things, they'd have better shit. But I don't. That's all I was saying. I'm only saying that because I personally know a few people who are at Netflix, and I think they're
Okay.
pretty good. But they have people have to remember like you're limited. If you get a job to do something, you don't want to fuck that up in Hollywood. So you just write what they tell you. So
That's true. That's true. That's true as well. That's true as well. I mean, um, but and this is the comment I was looking for, right? Dear white people is what will forever make me think that black people wrote that, because that was totally on the level of dear white people, and that's what I was thinking of when I saw that. But also the whole talk of, you know, like that crowd, their big concern is about being authentic and lamenting. Like it's never about being proud to be black. It's about how we suffer for not being white. And it was so shot through with that. Like both of them
that's
are,
true.
that's what made me think it was written by one of them, because that's how they view like being proud of your race for them is an overcompensation. It's like, sure, we're not white, but we're gonna make the best of it. That's like what, I feel like, and that's the anxiety is about that stuff, about authenticity, and that's what kind of, I don't know. But anyway, this person wrote that, and what I hate is when people don't research. I research everything that I say, right? So I said, I don't have to check to know white women wrote this, and then they went viral. And I guess maybe he checked after it went viral. So he comes with this. They look exactly like what I thought they did. And it says Ginny and Georgia, and he has two writers. And I'm like, that's a funny screen cap. Because a
There's
whole
definitely
show,
more writers than that.
yeah, they have more writers than that. And they just had them next to each other. And it doesn't say the episode writers, it just says writers. And I'm like, okay, this guy is lying. This guy's capping. I'm gonna check it myself, because
So
I do not believe these two would dare do that. They would write it. I believe they would approve it. I don't think they would do the jerk chicken stuff, because what these people do is they usually get the black people on staff, like the movie Soul. That's what the movie Soul did. It was written really by white people, but they got a black person at the very end on contract to pepper it with black
black
authenticity, and then he put the barbershop and everything. That's what these people tend to do. They don't like to venture in this stuff. I'm like, I know they had some black people um, to tell them what to put about, being black. I think the Asian thing they might have did themselves. That's why it was so non-specific. They said cheeseburgers, but the black stuff was weirdly specific, right? Uh,
yeah.
so I I looked and I said, wait, you just picked two white writers out of the list of total writers. These are the creators of the show. They're on the top of the list. The creators are on the top. So I found out the actual episode it was in, and
Mhm.
it's by got a woman called Brianna Belzer and um, Mike Guayo. They're both black. So you see their names um, here. I highlighted them, right? So they're the two writers, and then the showrunner gets listed as a writer too. But the showrunner is listed as a writer on every show. I mean, on
Right.
every episode, right? Uh,
Right.
so this is her. She went to Harvard, and this is the guy. I think he's African. He seems it. The name Guayo, I think, and whatever. I don't know what nationality she is. And then also I found this article where they interviewed the actress, and they said, how do you incorporate your own life experiences into Ginny's story? And she goes, Sarah set me aside, which is the creator of the show, and said, I want to hear what it was like growing up. I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes. And that's what I was talking about. These white people want the minorities to put in the details, but they choose minorities based on who makes them comfortable. So they end up getting the type of people that went to school with them or and don't really haven't so she goes, for the first time I really felt like I had a voice, let alone a voice on Netflix that could reach millions of people. It was a really surreal moment for me. I basically told her what it was like growing up biracial and having a lot of white friends, which was my suspicion. And that added layer of always being the different one no matter what you do. And then what from these conversations made it into the show? And she responds, there are a few snippets in lines and dialogue that Ginny's friends say to her that are actual things that people said to me growing up and in high school. There's always a character named Samantha. There's a character named Samantha in the show who will say all these types of microaggressive things to Ginny, like, what are you? You're so exotic. Or which one of your parents is white, your mom or your dad? Things like that that tokenize Ginny and treat her more like an experiment to be examined than a person. Then the key paragraph, I was also able to collaborate on writing a scene with Mason Temple, who's the male actor, from episode 8, where they have an argument about quote unquote oppression Olympics. Those lines we say to each other are directly inspired by our real lives. So it's basically the actors are taking credit for it, and the two writers of the episode are black. And I feel like the type of black stands and whatever who watch this stuff, they have to blame it on a white person, whether they believe it or not, because if it comes out a black person wrote it, all these stands dream of being writers and whatever themselves, and they're like these people. So they have to perpetuate the fiction that they're qualified to write the shows they want to write just by being black, even if they have no cultural authenticity. So that's why every time these things come out, they're like, I bet white people wrote it. I bet white people wrote it because they're Blavity BuzzFeed blacks themselves. So they need that fiction to be true. And then people kept arguing me about it, like, how do you know they wrote the lines and whatever? It's like, but if it was two white people, you had no problem assuming.
Well, I was about to say, they totally didn't need any evidence then.
Yeah, when it was these two out of the 10, they had no problem saying, "Oh, these two definitely did all the writing." So it was, but then
because it's the thing, you are highlighting something that they were missing, right? And that intentionally, they wanted to focus on the white people so they can say this is racism, as opposed to holding people that think like them accountable, right? So you had to say, if they had said, if they had honestly agree with you that a black person had written it, then they'd have to acknowledge that there are some black people on some fuck shit in a lot of these places, and you can't just rely on diversity and representation and inclusion, because clearly that's not the move. All they're gonna do is ask some, half white girl who grew half black, half white girl who grew up with white people, what her experiences were, so they can go ahead and put it inside of a TV show and have that represent something that's inaccurate.
Yeah, because the jerk chicken thing was just weird.
That was weird as hell.
Yeah.
And I wonder if somebody actually even told them that, or if they just said that shit. Because I don't know. It just sounds like a weird thing to say. But what do I know? I don't hang around white people like that to know.
Yeah. You said read in the thread. It was episode 8. Yeah, that was me. I'm the guy in the thread. Yeah. But
Ricky Ross, that's T.
Yeah, Blavity black writers are Jemele Hill level cringeworthy. I rock with a couple of them, but the majority of them has ruined. Yes, I'm gonna be fair, and I'm gonna back you up, Vita. Some of them are good. Like, for example, does Issa Rae? I feel like that show, we talked about that. I feel like it has greatly improved the last season. I actually like the last season. This is what the show is about. It's about a white scammer mom on the run with a half black daughter. And let me show the trailer for it as well, because I feel like the trailer is important to see, because I feel like there's a weird microaggression going on in the trailer too. But one thing that happened for me is that this kind of reactionary YouTuber who's always bashing social justice warriors, he retweeted my tweet, and I was like, why are all these like kind of right wing, like alt right type chuds all in all in my mentions like that. Like, why are they all up in here? And then I realized like he retweeted it, but they were kind of making like I was on their side. Like, y'all want to blame Whitey for everything, I guess race doesn't matter for bad writing. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, the white people are ultimately to blame because first off, they hire who they hire for a reason.
Right.
Who makes them comfortable, who's not going to push back against a whack scene like that. Like they know people with certain pedigrees and striving and went to certain schools, they know how to kind of swallow it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and keep the eye on the prize. They're not gonna get somebody like, say, like a Damon Wayans or somebody that might push back or cause trouble. I'm talking like a young Damon Wayans. Like
I was gonna say David Wayans. I don't know.
yeah, they wouldn't get him now. But no, but when he was young, like he would do things like get fired from places because he.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not even for like necessarily racial pride reasons, but just because something was whack, he wouldn't want his name.
Not afraid to push back.
Yeah, or quit shows and stuff
Which
like that.
is a big deal because Hollywood is all about ass kissing. I mean, I'm sure that's kind of been exposed over the years more and more. So people are like, well, why didn't so and so say something about this or say something about that? Why the fuck do you think? Like,
yeah, and I think that's why. And one thing that happens a lot is that people like blaming, black immigrants for everything, and they say, oh, that's why they hire British or Nigerian actors for everything. But there's also a class component because I'm telling you, if you look at the blue checks who went to like the good schools and grew up middle class or whatever, they have the same value system as these types. That's why they get along fine and work in the same circles. Like in ADOS lineage blue check who went to like Harvard and their parents like a doctor and a lawyer, they get along better with Nigerian and Harvard than they get along with the other ADOS guy in the ground. And that's why I think there's a class component that I think a lot of people, when they blame everything on flag Twitter, and then each time you show sometimes, oh wait, this person's like American, they will have an excuse for why it doesn't matter. But I just think it's a class component as well as lineage component. I just think they have a lot more of those black immigrant descended people in those spaces for whatever reason. But tell me how the blog. Go on.
Did you find that trailer?
Yeah, I have it. It should be on the screen. Can you see it?
No.
I'm gonna play it. Oh, it's not on the screen.
Oh, it's not even in the what you call it. But Outlaw said he misses the 90s. You know what's funny? Whenever people say that, I wanted to go back and watch shows from the 90s. There's a lot of problematic shit, like really some stuff I even cringed that was even on TV because especially things around like sex and sexual harassment, they were like, yeah. So I don't know. You can go back to the 90s if you want to, but they got a lot of fuck shit on during the 90s too.
Yeah, but you know what I like of the 90s is UPN. Like that stuff is just so simple. Even it's not groundbreaking at all.
I thought UPN was the 2000s.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so here's the thing. Hopefully it doesn't cause some kind of copyright strike, because I feel like everything does, but let's see.
Got you a present. Gross. This is the new thing you're doing now?
First off, the actresses are 7 years apart. They have a 24-year-old girl playing a 15-year-old girl, and it's just not working for me, but...
Well, this girl's supposed to be 15?
No, this girl's supposed to be the mother.
Oh, okay.
And the other one's supposed to be the daughter, but in real life, they're 31 and 24. So it just looks really kind of silly to me. The biracial girl's supposed to be 15.
Wow.
No hate on mom. Come on. This isn't us. We're like the Gilmore Girls, but with bigger boobs. My mom had me when she was my age. You're gonna like Massachusetts. Perfect for a fresh start. We move a lot, so I'm always the new girl.
Who's that?
That is Ginny's mom. I know.
I'm such a psycho.
Wait,
Ginny's thriving here. She has friends. This adorable little boyfriend. Mom, grow up.
I think that's a half Asian boyfriend.
Times. That's it. Seriously? I blame toxic masculinity. Why? I don't know.
See, I hate that type of dialogue, but...
What did she say?
I was trying to talk over it because I didn't want the song to get the stream canceled, but I'll just let it play because I think there's no way around it. YouTube's gonna hit us with a strike. But here we go. The typical written for Twitter stuff. Listen to the dialogue. Total like think piece theater. You know that masterpiece theater? They should make think piece theater where it's just everything is inspired by think pieces.
I blame toxic masculinity.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're new, right? Just moved in across the street. I met your mom last night.
Yeah, well, she can be very friendly.
She asked me for weed. She wasn't that friendly.
Well, she can also be kind of happy sweet 16, jerk.
God, my crush on Georgia grows every day. Is that weird?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's that Joss Whedon like quippy. I don't know why all jokes in movies are like that now. It's like, is that weird? Yes. I don't know. I hate that.
My mom deals with her problems by ignoring them, bundling them up.
So the mom is apparently a criminal.
The only man I've ever seen her love is my dad, and that never ends well. She promised that this time would be different, but everywhere has problems.
So her dad is the black guy that was just there.
We live in a man's world, and it is exhausting to exist in a world where you matter.
Yeah, something about Netflix. I don't know. They're very into those type of pairings. I don't understand exactly why, but they have like 90% biracial girls on that.
Yeah, they're obsessed with it.
Yeah, they're very, very, very obsessed with biracial actresses, and it's weird because it makes such a big deal about how diverse they are and have that strong black lead. I mean, you pretty much get the point.
Yeah, that dialogue is awful, and I don't like things that are so. In general, in most movies and TV shows, I hate when they use things that are supposed to be trendy, like the term toxic masculinity. Like, does that really fit in most sentences in your day-to-day life?
Yeah.
Like, it just seems so forced. That's what it is. I don't like things that look overly contrived and forced. Oh wow, I just saw how much Ado's Truth donated. Thank you. $50 donation supports the best contexted content on YouTube, TV, the Kenny Q and guests alike. Thank you so much. And Mario. Don't forget about Mario. Shout out to Mario.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is a recent guest on the show, Samantha Pritchard. She says meme dialogue. Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. This is a perfect example. Oh, that just happened. Yeah, that kind of dialogue. Like I hate that. It's also like Xander from Buffy, or Chandler Bing. It's where every character sounds like Chandler Bing from Friends. It's pretty horrible. But
I've heard. Yeah, that's just corny and that weird quippy thing. Like you're like the wisecrack thing, but it's super cheesy. I don't like that either. And I think sometimes it's like really Chandler-esque.
Yeah, somebody made a good mashup on Twitter, but there's no way I'll find it in a crunch. But she was making fun of that type of dialogue, and she did a good job. Like she just mashed together all that horrible like movie dialogue where, and you know that keeps going out like a record scratches so that you can get the punch. It's like she's a little bit weird. It's. Someone said, this is a perfect example. Two people use the same example. They fly now. They fly now. Do you know what that one is? If not, I got to show it to you. It's. I mentioned it on the podcast once too. But yeah, it's from Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, and I had this trailer. I'm gonna play it real quick because it's worth. It's so annoying. Let me find it. I'm not gonna play the whole trailer, just a joke, because you gotta.
Oh, Queen said this conversation reminds me of Trevor Noah jokes.
Yeah, Trevor Noah jokes are kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. You mean his jokes or the ones that the writers on Comedy Central? Because they're all kind of the same people. Though, like Jessica Williams totally fit over there. She's corny, just like them.
Yeah, one thing that was weird is I saw Trevor Noah's stand-up. It wasn't like incredible, like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But it's way better than what he does on
It's funny because I think that's why I got duped, because I actually didn't think his stand-up, it wasn't the greatest in the world, but he's a handsome guy. He's kind of funny. He's from another country. Maybe the humor just doesn't transfer that well. I'm rooting for you. Do well on Comedy Central. And then he did this clip. What made me fucking hate him? It was before the Tommy Loren thing. That's when he made a lot of people mad. I didn't even care about that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, when the Tommy Loren thing,
I mean, I didn't care about that because that's a Comedy Central thing. They were clearly trying to promote Tommy Loren at the time. You remember that's what the whole thing was. They're promoting Glenn Beck's little online network and Tommy Loren. All that shit's branding. I know marketing when I see it, so I didn't care about that. But there was an episode where he compared Donald Trump wanting to kick immigrants out of America to African leaders wanting to kick Europeans out of America. I mean, out of their countries. And so you have these various African leaders talking about getting the Europeans out, but making it seem like Donald Trump sounds like an African dictator. Ha 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 ha. But how do you compare Donald Trump wanting to kick Latinos out to African leaders wanting to kick out European colonizers?
Yeah. It's garbage.
So after that, I stopped fucking with him.
And Iceland Info pointed out this, and I know this is true. Like this has only bad anti-black jokes. He's had a lot of horrible jokes. That's one of the more notable ones, but he's had like a lot of questionable jokes. But I'm talking about basic competence as a comedian. Like he had a basic competence, even if his politics were like crappy. But now he has bad politics and he can't, deliver a joke at all. He's like Jimmy Fallon level of, delivery. This is real short. It's like 40 seconds. Hopefully I remember to put on the sound. But let's see. Is there sound?
Yes.
We spotted the fugitives.
Okay. Here it comes.
They fly now! They fly now!
They fly now! Like,
That's lazy.
Yeah. They fly now! Yeah. That's what that dialogue reminds me of.
Yeah, that's just cheesy. Yeah, I know it's late. I don't know if it was because that was something I wanted to talk about not for a long time.
Oh, I think you want to talk about that article, I think.
Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow because I know you have to go, and I have to kind of go too. But we can talk about that tomorrow. But no, just real quick. So go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no! By all means, go ahead.
No, I just quickly wanted to talk about Black men's health and why people on Twitter are just married to gender wars. I do not understand it.
Oh my God! It's
Did you see the shit?
I didn't see it on Twitter, but it's so much worse on Clubhouse, and it's everywhere now.
It's insane. Like it's so bad. Let me see. Hopefully, I saved it.
Oh, actually, let me finish one last thing about this topic to close it out, because once you go on this, I'm not going to want to go back. But this guy here, he's big on YouTube, and he has a big following when it comes to like bashing diversity. It's kind of weird because one of those like the enemy of my enemy is not my friends type thing. So he's always bashing these kind of social justice warrior types and whatever, and diversity and all this stuff. And I really can't stand a lot of those people and the work they do. But he, like, to me, dislikes it for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he dislikes it because he says things like racism is not real, or other like questionable things. So, but he's got a big following, 105.9 followers. And so he was so happy to find out the writers are Black. So he was retweeting people saying the writers are Black, and then he retweeted me. So then all these like racist chuds started going into my mentions, and I want to make clear, it doesn't matter who the Black writers were. They would find some other Black writers that are like them, because at the end of the day, it's the white people who set the tone of the show, who
Right.
are the main showrunners. These people are new. I looked at their resumes and when they came out of school and stuff, and they're both new. And I'm gonna put it on the screen real quick, right? But
And it's white people who approve that shit, and white
Yep.
people that fund it. White people. So it's like we forget that.
It's white people who hire them, and it's the white people that'll fire them if they don't play. If they didn't like what they were saying, if they put like a Sister Soldier moment in there, those white people would not let it through.
Oh, not even a little bit. Because
But-
that'll be too real.
Oh man, he's Haitian. There we go. There's the flag.
Yeah.
I was hoping Nigerian.
Uh-oh. You got to hear it.
You know what? It was written kind of well. Now that I think back. No. I'm just saying.
You can't turn on your people. You can't do that.
No, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. But we just take a lot of L's online. No, we take I don't know why, but the Haitian flag's taking a lot of L's online. But so he's written on Insecure, and Ginny and Georgia. He's a founder of Black Boy Writes First, a production company focusing on creating socially conscious content that explores the varied experiences of marginalized people. I can't hate on that. Founder of the Black Boy Writes Mentor Initiative, a mentorship program for Black men who are looking to break into TV writing. Okay, seems okay. Could be worse. He wrote on Issa Rae Productions on a fictional podcast series called Fruit, a first-person narrative about a sexually fluid football player recounting that part. I'm not too crazy about, because I feel like the only way you can write about Black masculinity is to work in sexual confusion in there. I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. Like, why? Because Issa Rae's next show is about a bisexual black man. Like, you write about a black guy, for some reason they can only make them gay to relate to them. That kind of gets on my nerves. Why does she have two different shows about that? So I don't know, but he's not. But if you look, his writing is relatively recent. He's only been at this since, for TV since 2017. That's as a assistant, 2019. So he can't rock the boat that much. You know
That's
what I'm
what
saying?
He might have, I don't know this guy, but
I think
I try
people
my
jerk
best.
in there though.
I honestly try to hope sometimes that it's just the circumstances they're in, which is usually the case. I feel like it's tough because this is something that Black entertainers and Black people in entertainment have complained about for a very long time, or since the beginning, which is they feel like they don't have enough opportunities, so they have to take what they can get and do what they have to do for that.
Yeah, and not just that, to get so far in all those white spaces, to get all the way to Harvard. Like, the girl got a full merit scholarship to Harvard. To do that, you have to get really good at having an ear for what white people want to see from you and whatever. Because a lot of Black people are not well socialized to advance in white spaces. When I say well socialized, I don't mean that in a pejorative way. I mean well socialized for that context. Like, they're well socialized for a different context, but to be around like white people all day, that's something that a lot of people don't want to do or can't do, whatever. It just grates on their soul. It's not for everybody. Some people are rather like, I would rather just do my own thing than have to like swallow these microaggressions. But some people are very good at swallowing those microaggressions, and I feel like those are the ones who get to go that far. So this is the woman. She's only had 2 credits. All Rise, she was a story editor. That's the one with the woman who played Misty Knight on Luke Cage, and this show. So this is her first staff job. So I mean, so all those like reactionary people were coming into my thing and like, race doesn't matter, race is not real, whatever. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, white people are responsible for this. White people are the ones who do screening. They're the ones who hire this type of person, and they look for a certain thing in a socialization that makes them comfortable. Sometimes they misjudge, and that happens sometimes. They think you're one way, and then you flip on them. Like Dave Chappelle was one that fell through the cracks. You know, that wasn't supposed to happen. But every now and then it happens. You called it wrong. The person seems like, oh, this person is pretty socialized to make white people comfortable. Then you let them in. They're a pain in the ass, and stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's all I wanted to say is that I don't like these white conservatives or whatever who get happy to, high five and everything. And that's not the point. I'm not defending white people and defending their honor. It's their fault at the end of the day. That's all I want to say.
Word. No, I totally am with you 100%. Somebody said that, I sent info has to go. Well, good night.
Yeah, have a good night, Sound Info. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, so I wanted to just share this because, T, you know what's been going on. I've shared some stuff on the timeline. I'm dealing with a family member who is declining very rapidly in health. He's in a position where he can't pump his own heart, right? So it's not looking too good right now. And that happening inspired me to talk about Black men's health and encourage Black men to take your health seriously. Now, two things that irritated me off top: people who would go, "What about women?" or "Women too," or people who would go, Latino men too, and all that stuff is true. Everyone should take their health seriously. Like that's a given.
Yeah.
Right? The reason why I was stressing and emphasizing Black men is because they're literally number one for almost every disease. Outside of things that are specific to women, right? Like uterine cancer or something, right? But like,
so they were doing that nonsense of
I'm about to get here right now. Yes. So this person actually, we've been following each other on Twitter for a long time, and I blocked him today after this. So this was insane. Like this and I always knew like he kind of had this issue with Black women, and a bunch of people who follow me do. Feel free to block me if that's the case, because I've noticed that's the case with some of y'all. That got real issues with Black women, but you hide it under this guise of caring for Black men.
A lot of people are pro-Black like that too. They use pro-Blackness as a way to hide incelness. It gets my nerves too.
Oh, absolutely. That's that whole thing about, this guy told me Black women were coons if they wore a weave. Like shit like that. I think you're a lunatic when you say shit like that. But anyway, so I just said, Black men, please take your health seriously. Your families need you. I can't stress this enough. It's dire. We can't be losing all our men in their 60s, right? And some people, and in the thread, what's even so sad is in the thread, people talking about how their father died or their grandfather died or their uncle died before they even reached 70. Some people have friends that recently passed away in their 40s, Black men, from illnesses, right? Such as heart disease. People said heart disease and diabetes and all these things, right? Colon cancer.
I just read what he wrote. I was reading it while you were talking. Like, whoa, what
right.
the fuck?
So I was also getting responses from people who wanted to, for whatever reason, felt it was necessary to evoke some sort of gender war. One person even quoted this and said, "Y'all don't give a fuck about Black men's health." I'm literally sitting there giving a fuck about Black men's health. And you're telling me I don't give a fuck about Black men's health. Whatever. So this guy, he actually goes by Toxic Q on, that's his usual name. I guess maybe it's banned right now. I don't know. But he said, "I felt my grandfathers died too early. Then you got to wonder what's worth living 100 years. The women like living longer because making people's lives miserable brings them joy, but men get tired." What? How did you even why was that even necessary to say?
The reach is so crazy.
It's insane. It didn't even, and then somebody even quoted it and liked it. Somebody he's not lying though. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, someone said that?
No, people agreed with him. There were likes all over that.
Wait, but how about this part? That part wasn't even that bad to me about men get tired. The part that was really bad, I mean, that was bad too, but the women like living longer because making people's lives miserable brings them joy. So the reason women live longer than men is because they enjoy making people's lives miserable, and that makes them hang on. That's crazy. Like, in a weird way, these people are kind of creative.
insane.
Yeah, but they're creatively insane. Like the things they come up with to like one thing about online when you really hate people full time, you can really come up with some creative things to justify your hate. Like there's some people like I always like support the ADOS people and stuff who aren't like xenophobic, but there are some there who will be like xenophobic and they will like get in my replies and say crazy stuff. So I pointed out this room that was created on Twitter that said are light skinned people really black? And the people who started the room identified as the lineage ADOS, but they made clear they weren't down with the Yvette Carnell political group. But they said, but I didn't bring that up because it didn't matter who made it. There were people of both types in the room agreeing that light-skinned people aren't black. And I was saying, wow, this is like how stupid the discourse is getting, right?
Yeah.
And then the first thing people said, damn flag people, damn flag people. This is like private sector. And I was like, actually, the people who started the room and whose whole idea were of the ADOS lineage. And it's like, well, a lot of them are flag people who pretend to be ADOS. This is in Clubhouse. Who pretend to be ADOS so they can make ADOS look bad. I'm like, who's gonna make a whole fake Clubhouse profile as a person of ADOS lineage, and just to do rooms like that? Because that means they have to keep it up for the whole time they're on Clubhouse. Like, it's okay to just say, hey, an ADOS person messed up right now. That's fine. You don't have to. But that's what this guy reminds you of the women. Like they get so creative. The way that those people made a complicated narrative of people creating whole disinformation campaigns of impersonating ADOS people to make bad threads and stay in them for hours.
It's one of those things where you just have to always make up something new to justify or rationalize your position. It's cognitive dissonance at its best.
Yeah.
Like,
and this guy reminds me of that. Like women are living longer because they want to, just because they hate men that much.
But this is the thing. And later he said something else about his own family. Like the men died early because of the women or whatever. So he says this thing happened to his own family, which to me, I doubt if it's true. But let's just say it is true. It will reveal why you hate black women so much. Now this account, this guy, somebody said, I think it was Jessica, said that, maybe he's trolling. You said these folks crazy, maybe they are trolling. No, they're not trolling. The reason why I know he's not trolling is I've discussed other topics with him, and he literally has this, like they find any reason to hate black women. And there's a lot of them on there that do that. They are literally going online. Anytime there's it could be nothing of the statement could have nothing to do with black men at all. And they'll still say somehow this is. In fact, I just seen they did it to Nina. Nina, I forgot what Nina tweeted. Something something she tweeted, and then this guy says to her like something about divest Twitter, which you're blaming black men. And
oh yeah, I saw that. He was accusing her of being a part of divest Twitter, and she didn't say anything close to that.
Like it's like they're literally insane, right? It just makes absolutely no sense how you can see a tweet like this of a black woman concerned about black men's health and well-being, and you turn it into this negative thing about women. Like, why would you have to literally be something wrong with you? And I hope him and whoever thinks like him, because there are a few people on my page, and as I find them and I root them out, I'm gonna start blocking these people. Because they get online and they just have to talk all this shit about black women any chance they get. Anytime there's an article, anytime there's something that's negative and a black woman's involved, they have to share it and somehow make this representative of black women. And even in that thread, if you go to my thread, they have a lot of people even in there. I had to just start blocking people because they were just saying all types of stupid shit. Like, somehow they're blaming another guy blamed black women for not getting married. And that's our fault. So black men's health is declining because we refuse to marry black men.
These things go in cycles because I showed those videos in 2011 and to like 2013, 2014, where the rage was to blame black women for everything, and then the TV shows were all about that and clowning them. And I feel like it's gone the full other way to black men being pariahs, and now a lot of these guys are using that as an excuse to now, I think, bring back the blame black women for everything again. And it's like, I think it's not going to end, because I feel like each time the pendulum swings, it swings harder because this wave of the blame black women for everything thing is way even more mean-spirited and nasty than the first thing. Like
it's bad because now they're using divest Twitter and that super tiny minority of women as their fuel and their justification. 2008 D. Scott said it isn't like they are insane, they just are. So let me clarify something. I'm a Californian. The word like doesn't apply in the same way the way you're applying it. I wasn't saying they are like they're insane. I'm saying like that's how Californians talk. So just wanted to clarify that. Yes, they are in fact insane. Yes, and I think Kenny said that this guy's a known lunatic. He's clearly a lunatic.
Yeah, I've never. Oh, wait a minute.
He's usually goes like toxic Q.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
He changes his profile picture. That's the other thing. These people never have actual profile pictures. They're all, and I'm just like, so you get on here and say all this shit about black women, and I bet in real life you just can't get no pussy, and we just got to be honest about it. You can't get pussy, just say that. I'll help you out. I would do a coaching session. We'll work on your trauma. Let me know what you need. You don't need to be on my page randomly making gender war conversations out of me saying, black men, please take care of your health because you are dying earlier than everybody else. And the sad part is, even if you were doing better, eating and exercising, you're still more likely to die of these diseases. So you have to take care of yourself just to stay anywhere close to the average lifespan. Like, it's really difficult because a lot of black men aren't taking care of their health. They're not going to the doctor. Women have to go to the doctor a lot anyway. So we usually get checked for a lot of shit because we're always having to go to the doctor because of our reproductive system. So with men, because you don't have that type of system that kicks you in the uterus every time you need to go to the doctor, it's different. Also, I think men have been taught to kind of tough it out. How many times have we seen kids get hurt? And a boy, if it's a boy in particular, they'll tell the boy to just walk it off, or be a man.
I'm totally good for that. Like, I will not go to the doctor unless it's something that, if a limb is falling off, it's a horrible way to be. But yeah, I'm totally like that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are, and a lot of men are in particular, but black men especially, because in addition to just being men and, that being part of you guys is, well, I'll put it off, or unless I'm dying, I'm not going to go. The other part of it is black men also understand the trauma associated with the hospitals and clinics and these doctors. We've been experimented on. So I totally get it. It makes total sense to not want to go to the doctor. You don't trust these motherfuckers either. That's why Dr. Sebi was so popular, because niggas didn't want to go to the doctor. Not because they're just, I hate the way we demonize people so much. People who believe in Dr. Sebi and all that shit. I didn't at all. But either way, people just didn't want to go to the doctor. They were trying to figure out, how do I cure my shit without that? Your health is extremely important. To take something as important as that discussion and to somehow make it twist and turn into something negative against black women is something's not all the way right with you. There's no way that's possible. Sorry, go ahead, T.
Oh, I was gonna say, Kenny and I have spoken about that dude before because he was following us. I had to block and unblock him and stuff, so to make sure he wasn't blocking me anymore. I mean, he wasn't following me anymore. But what was crazy about him is he would say crazy stuff, and he was following us. And Kenny and I had this conversation. We're like, you know what? We talk about like crazy intersectional man bashing Twitter a lot and stuff, but that's one of the reasons why we don't want to talk about it so much after a while, because we're like, I think a lot of people are kind of thinking like, oh, the enemy is my friend type of stuff. So we would get these people who are just like on some MRA stuff, and we would start trying to incorporate like, talking about incels and woman haters more. So like, we've been talking about them a lot more as a result of that, just to kind of shake them off. That's a big reason why I wanted to have that Black Manosphere guy on to talk about how bad the Black Manosphere, because I wanted to make sure that we weren't getting those type of people are, getting it twisted, because I can't stand them. To me, I think they're all the same incel energy at the end of the.
It is, and honestly, a lot of people are probably going to fall off eventually anyway because of just how you guys are and how you guys think. Which is why I really appreciate about all of you guys, you, Mario, and Kenny, is that you guys have sense. Like, I've never had to like debate you guys on pretty much anything, right? Like, I've never had to like sit there and go, "What are you talking about? This is the woman's. This is like black women need this." And like, I never have to do that with you guys. You guys are pretty smart and clear and not crazy. You're not incels or anything like that. So I think all people are going to fall off eventually anyway. But it's definitely good to kick them off early or soon, get rid of them soon. Because the thing is, they multiply too. Because they draw others like them. Because I think that's what happened to me. Because I think I was saying a lot of shit about the divest Twitter and standing up for black men. But that's because I'm not a coon. So I'm standing up for black people. Black men, black women, black children, black babies, whatever. Because I'm not a coon. I think because I was going at them and I was, supporting black men a lot publicly, and I was doing that intentionally. Like I told you guys, or I told Mario, I think it's important that people see the other side battling it. So it's important for black women to see black men stand up for black women and vice versa, right? I think that's important to see in contrast to all the other bullshit you see in your timeline. Because whether you want to believe it or not, all that shit goes into your subconscious. Like, it's just the reality. And you might not want that shit in your head. So I'm going to help you. Let's put some other shit out there. Also, I think it's important for us to just be able to have confidence in each other to know, oh, my girl going to check this, or my guy's going to check this shit, I think when people started following me, and they thought I was going to be on some anti-black woman shit. Because I do also notice the women that are in their little camps, they always say some shit that's like super downing women in general. Or they'll find this, or they'll like this conversation around sexual liberation. Like there's an article with that girl, I can't think of her name, but they've twisted the conversation around sexual liberation to only mean being a hoe or a slut, quote unquote. I don't believe in those terms. But sexual liberation doesn't even have to mean that. It's literally different for every single person. It's just how you liberate yourself. So that could be you and your wife or you and your husband, and you guys are exploring something that before maybe religion you didn't feel like you could explore because of religion stuff, or because how you were raised or whatever. It can mean a plethora of things. It could just mean not feeling like I'm going to burn in hell every time I have sex.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say freedom or liberation means the freedom to have choice, the freedom to not do something as much as to do it. So sexual liberation means like you can choose to have sex and be what people in the old days would have pejoratively be called a slut without judgment and without having to be called a slut, or you can choose to not be promiscuous or whatever, and to be what people used to call a prude. But either way, you're doing it because you want to, and that's what the liberation, and that's what, like the voting thing, like the freedom to vote wasn't about now you have to vote. Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. If the new rule or the new normal means that now you're forced to do the opposite, then you're not free either. You just have a different maybe it's not legal, but there's like now you have a new cultural binding. Now you're, and that's what the problem with a lot of these new feminists are. They act like women are obligated to sleep around and be as promiscuous as possible, whether they're into that or not. Some people just aren't naturally inclined to have a lot of partners or a lot of sex. That's fine.
I think that but see, even that is a small sect. Like most women in general aren't, or people, most people aren't just out here just fucking everything that moves. Most people aren't, male or female. I don't care what they tell you on TV. Because it's not real. What I noticed though, but let me finish this point though, because what I noticed that the women in those little pro-black incel camps, what they do to boost themselves up is they start putting down women and calling women hoes, or they start arguing about sexual liberation without bringing anything new to the conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just let's repeat the same thing that we've been repeating since the 60s. But guess what? It gets my fan base all riled up and it gets them excited. And I think that's to me that's borderline pick me culture, where you try to put
Mm-hmm.
down other women so these men can, approve of you, so you can continue to have that base, or
And that's
even
an
other
important,
women who like putting down other women. That's also their base, right? Like
and that's an important thing too. They abuse the term pick me, but some people really are pick me. Just because they misuse it against a lot of people doesn't mean there's no such thing as a pick me.
Oh yeah, that's definitely pick-me's, right? I mean, and this is one of those terms that people misapply because they just want to be offensive. But it really is when you put down other women to promote yourself, or you reach out for some sexist, misogynistic opportunity to get picked, right? So like it's like when guys put on Twitter, black women nowadays don't know how to cook. Who out here knows how to cook? And it's just like all these women, me. Like, why the fuck were you even answering this? Like, ignore this fool. Who cares, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why you guys will always see me on Twitter. I will always say I can't cook. I don't give. In fact, most of my dates, I tell guys, no, I can't cook. I cook 90% of my meals from scratch, but I still don't tell. Only because I don't even want people thinking that shit. Just get that shit out your head. Don't worry about what the fuck I can do. Like, it's not even that important.
Wait, so you actually can't cook, or you do, but you don't even want? Oh, you can.
Oh yeah, I cook all the time.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really want to cook, but I gotta eat, and I've been cooking since I was like 7. So you just do what you do.
No,
But
I agree with that.
yeah, that's why you guys always see
You
me joke
shouldn't have
about
to lead with
Velveeta and
it.
hot
Yeah.
dogs. I was talking about how I make Velveeta and hot dogs. I don't eat Velveeta and hot dogs. I don't eat hot dogs. But yeah, so that whole little thing where you try to like put down black women to make it seem like you're doing some pro-black shit is real corny, and I'm done with all that gender war shit. Like, I'm done. Like, I will just block your ass. Like, I'm just so over the shit because it's so unproductive. All it does is, and that's why I can't do the whole Kevin Samuels thing. Like, you guys turn that, even instead of just looking at the shit for what it is, they make it out like, oh, you're a woman, that's why you don't like them.
Yeah.
I laid out multiple reasons why this fool's a clown, and you guys just ignored all that because, well, he goes at men too. Yeah, and he's a clown when he does that shit too. That'll make it better.
I think, yeah, I think the one thing that is really telling about Kevin Samuels is that he doesn't really give advice, really, except be a high value man, which
based off of superficial criteria, though.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I do not believe all those people in the comments are high value men making 6 figures. Because if you were a high value man making 6 figures, you would not enjoy women being taken down a peg so much. If you were really high value, like what joy would you get? I mean, their dicks get really hard off of watching women get like crushed, whether it's real or not. And I just don't feel like they're really high value men. But I've never seen him give advice. I've never seen him give pickup lines, how to meet women, how to do this and that. He's just telling, he just berates mainly women. And the men are acting like they're getting all this game from him, but I don't really see. I mean, what he says is basically make 6 figures and dress well. That's why I go on.
They really feel like he's telling them how not to be a simp. That's what they told. I
Yeah.
asked her. I think I said, "What do y'all see in this nigga?" I'm not seeing it. I still don't see it.
Oh, I want to ask, what practical tips have you learned before you saw him that makes you better at getting women now than before? And basically, all they say is, "Well, you taught me not to mess with single moms." It's like, okay, that's a 1-sentence tip. Like, you have to sit through 8 hours of him to
That's
get
some
that.
old Tariq Nasheed shit. That's the kind of shit he used to say. You're overweight, so you can't get a man. I don't know. Like, people just say dumb shit. Kenny said he donated $1.99. You'll be making oxtails. I actually do not eat red meat at all, so no oxtails. Just wanted to let you guys know that no oxtails.
I want to put this on the screen real quick.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
They put this up after his car accident. What does it have to do? I'm surprised they didn't darken him up, and maybe they should have had a more menacing picture, like have him drooling or looking like a wolf with his tongue hanging out. Like, this is some more birth of a nation type, and this kind of shows like Tiger Woods had to have the most I'm a special black guy type of image. I'm not even black, but they still treat him like a N word at the end of the day. Like this is some they're raping our women type thing. This is crazy. What did this have to do?
So unnecessary, and it was just super unnecessary.
And I used to always think, hey, are white people just that clueless? Like they don't know, right? I'm talking a long time ago, not anytime recent.
No.
Like before I started this podcast, even I was well past that. But I'm talking about like when I was younger, and this is what really lets you know. Look at this. For people who still doubt, like I have no doubt that they do stuff on purpose. But you see, by Post Sports Desk, nobody wanted to put their name on this. Like that's how you know they know. They just signed that thing Post Sports Desk. So they know that's something you want to put your.
It's intentional because they want to get the clicks. So they know Tiger. So this is how these algorithms and shit are. So they know everybody's gonna be looking at Tiger's name, right? It's gonna be all over the news. They want to jump in on that. So that's what they do. So just reporting the fucking story, they want more clicks. So they have to do more titles and headlines with Tiger Woods in the thing. And what's gonna get clicks? Drama, scandal, sex. So that's why they did that shit. And New York Post, they're a messy fucking tabloidish type of publication.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're a piece of garbage. They're owned by the same guy who owns Fox News, and and Wall Street Journal. All his publications are basically garbage. Yeah, but I just find that funny. Oh, here's one last thing. Oh, there's two last things. They're both short. One is 30 seconds, but I want to show you. This is what you're going to be watching, Vita. So I want to let you know so you can see it. It's airing soon. It's in 7 days, so it's going to be like March 2nd, I think. ABC presents Soul of a Nation, a show by Black people for all Black people.
I saw the trailer for that.
Okay, so
is it on Hulu or something?
What's that?
Is it on Hulu or Amazon?
It's on ABC, and Jemele Hill.
Okay, I must have seen it on Hulu because I seen the ad. They must have promoted it on Hulu.
Yeah, Jemele Hill, Queen of the Blacks, is behind it. According to white people, she's the Queen of the Blacks. They hire her for all this stuff. And yeah, it's about being Black in America. And if anybody nails just the way her jokes go over on Twitter, she is somebody with a finger in the pulse of Black humor and Black America.
Oh my God, she's horrible.
Horrible. But she will run that Popeye spicy chicken sandwich joke to the ground. Or spicy chicken in general. She loves that joke. But here it is, 30 seconds real quick.
In 7 days, we think America's finally ready. Common.
Revolutionary.
A show by Black people for all people.
For all people.
Black experience in America. Unapologetic.
Why does Common always sound like he's doing a spoken word poem, even when he's just talking? He always.
That's how they tell him to do it. I swear to you, that has because he always does it that way because that's like his brand. That's his mark. Notice the one thing I already hated as soon as I saw this trailer was a show about Black people for all people. Like, why?
Oh, is that? I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, go back.
I think America's finally ready.
Finally ready.
Revolutionary.
A show by.
First off, what is revolutionary? Yeah. What is revolutionary about being on ABC and Disney-owned net? Like, I just hate to just abuse the word revolutionary. No, it's not. It's fine. It doesn't have to be revolutionary. Just say it's a good show.
Right.
For all people.
Oh, you're right. I missed that.
Experience.
Oh, hold on. I gotta back up on that because it really did have all people in it.
Black experience in America. Unapologetic, uplifting.
I went back too far. Hold on.
No, you went. I don't think you
went
back.
Yeah. This is it. This is for all people. And look, it really is for all people. There's an Asian. Yeah. There's a white person.
For all people.
For all people.
Black experience in America.
What do all Black people need to be? Forget it. What are all people?
Well, the Black experience, we're crying and I can't breathe. That's like our experience. That's it.
And dancing at HBCUs. Lately, there's been this big push to make sure white people know HBCUs exist. So that's in there too. Especially.
I think that the push is to make them no longer Black. I think that's 100%.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal.
You're right. I think you're absolutely right.
They
They're doing that for the
these
sororities or
go
fraternities
there.
too.
Like the actual HBCUs themselves are constantly promoting the white people who go there, or if they join a black sorority or fraternity, right?
Yep,
Like
they're doing it with the black fraternities and sororities too, where you ever see those tweets where they're celebrating every time a white person joins and they get like so many likes and retweets?
what? What's that?
On Twitter, they'll put like a lot of, or on Instagram, they'll put like a lot of tweets or Instagram posts on various chapters. Like, here's our newest soror.
Oh yeah, and they put some white girl.
Amy, yeah, he's our new soror, Amy. It's like a white girl, like, hey guys, ski wee, and then it'll get like 5,000. Yeah, like 5,000 likes, and then the black girl. Also, here's Keisha, 10 likes. It's like the same chapter and everything. It's like, why does Amy get like 500 times more likes? It's weird. By black people.
I am with you, Island Buoy. Also, black people. Why are we trying to be the soul of the nation when we get used like a beating stick? Make it make sense. That's where I'm at with it.
And this is a good one too.
Make ABC some money.
And B. Scott has it too. Revolutionaries who are mules for network television, political parties, and all people. Yeah, that's revolutionary. This is,
And remember, ESPN is Disney, so she got fired from ESPN and is still with Disney.
Good point. You're right. That's revolutionary. That's what a revolution.
Fresh air.
And other thing, like, what? Please give her this EGOT. Just give. What's the last thing she needs? An Oscar? Just please give it to her.
That's the girl who's playing Aretha.
Aretha, Harriet. White people will not like. One of the things I think white people, liberals. This is what white liberals. I think this is the difference between white liberals and white conservatives when it comes to their tokens. White conservatives need to believe their tokens are ostracized from the black community in order to boost them. White liberals, for some reason, their conscience or whatever, to show that they're hip with it, they need to portray the image that their tokens are beloved by the black community. So every black iconic thing that happens, these white liberals, for some reason, want it so bad to get the EGOT and to be a staple. They keep trying to shoehorn her into everything iconically and beloved by black people and just portray that image. And they get mad when we don't get along. Like, we didn't go along with Harriet. We're like, get her out of here. She's whack. She says,
why the fuck is National Geographic even doing an Aretha movie?
That's a great question too. But yeah, they want so. The other big difference is credentials, and that ties into it too. The white conservatives want two things. They want the days of the Thomas Sowells are gone. They want their coons to be uncredentialed and coarse and crude, like Diamond Silk, or just seem dumb. Even if they are credentialed, they have to seem baddie, like Ben Carson, and they have to demonstrate that they're on the outs with the black community. That's where they get their power. And for white liberals, they like their coons like credentialed, or I shouldn't say. I'm gonna stop saying that word. They want their tokens credentialed. They want them to either get the awards, to get the New York Times bestseller list, to have a Harvard degree. That's why I love Amanda Gorman. She has a Harvard degree. And they'll even give you like Ta-Nehisi Coates didn't have a college degree. He dropped out. So, but he was on a New York Times bestseller list, and they gave him a Genius Grant. So now they can say Times bestselling and McCarthy. Like, for some reason, they want their, and you'll notice this when you start looking at it, they want their tokens to be credentialed. And if their tokens aren't credentialed, then they'll try to credential them. But then the other thing they want is they want their tokens to have the image, whether it's true or not, of being beloved by black people. And if black people don't go along with that program, they'll start getting mad at because white liberals mentions all the time defending Cynthia Erivo. Like, why don't you like her? You must just hate black women and stuff. And it's like, no, she talks shit about black people all the time. For people who don't know, she's talked a lot of shit about black people.
Yeah. Black Americans specifically.
Yeah, Black Americans specifically. Yeah, you're right.
Isn't Nat Geo Disney? I think it might be, honestly. So that would make sense that she would be on here too. This girl, what's her name? Shivo?
Cynthia Erivo.
Cynthia Erivo.
So much humor and there will be music.
It's echoing now.
Oh, you know what? I think I know why. Hold on. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
a lot of
that's,
these people are from ABC because I see the guy from Blackish on here.
yeah.
It's Tuesday night.
Oh, I think that was actually echoing in the video.
10/9 Central on ABC.
Soul of a Nation.
This is Common, and I hope you'll watch Soul of a Nation.
Because we couldn't tell it was Common.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, they're gonna push. Let me see because they might either on Discovery. They either on Discovery or Disney. I forget. I mean, they either on Discovery or Nat Geo, or is Nat Geo Discovery? Are they the same thing?
I don't know. They might all be the same shit. You know, I have no clue.
Yeah, and the very last thing I said is gonna be two things. This is the very last thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, gotta go soon. Okay. If you want to go, I put it in the description, so.
Oh, okay.
I can keep going without you. I just want to play this lady and it'd be done.
Oh yeah, no, I'm here for that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the last thing on the show.
In your last.
Did you hear the sound?
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the kid who was a Trick Daddy's son in Wait. Tomorrow.
Oh, I know nothing about that, so you can talk about that. I know nothing. Okay. I'll give that to you. But check this out.
Tips from the HR department. Hood names and resumes. Listen, are we judging you? Yes, we are. I'm just trying to keep it real. When we see a name that's I don't know, hard to pronounce or has a la, ka, and equa on it, we are judging you by your name first. But let your experience speak to you. Now, let me say this. If you have a middle name that maybe less hood, do your initial.
If Frozen is echoing.
Your middle name and your last name. Okay.
Oh, is echoing again?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why it's echoing. Interesting. Is it echoing? People out there in the chat, what are they saying? They're saying it's echoing too?
No. You can just play it because you can hear what she's saying. I was just letting you know.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost done, but I gotta figure that out just so I record the podcast. It doesn't do the same thing.
Get you in the door, and then you get in there and cold switch your ass off, get that job, and be the boss that you are. Follow me for more tips.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's pretty terrible. And this person made a good point. He's like, you're just talking about Black Americans. If you saw all these hard to pronounce non-American names, they would not be judged. And it's very true. Like, that has nothing to do with hard to pronounce. That hard to pronounce thing is bullshit.
Right. No, I saw that tweet too about the names, and I was like, absolutely, because they know damn well Sawashikowski is not a problem for them, right? So
yeah, there's some Polish with like 10 consonants in a row.
Yeah, but it exists. If they saw a Russian name, they're not gonna, push that to the side. My problem with what she said. So there's a couple of things. So people kept trying to say like, oh, she's just giving Black people advice. First of all, number one, most Black people probably already know this. Like, this is not breaking news. Two, she said we. She did not separate herself. They're saying she did in another clip, but I ain't see that clip. In this clip, she did not separate herself. She said we.
Yep, I agree. Even if she did in another clip, like, fuck that. She still is telling people to do it. And
it has the nerve. It calls them hood names, and because that's what the other thing. That was very specific. She didn't say foreign names. She said hood names. She knew who she was talking about. She was trying to. So another thing that irritated me though, at the end, she's like, and walk in and be the boss that you are. You are not a boss. Number one, if you're hired at a job. Number two, how can you even hold your head up? I'm built different. I hate to say it that way, but I don't get shit like that. I've never been able to deal with shit like that. I would never change I used to go on job interviews straight up with my afro on purpose. I cannot work for a bunch of racist motherfuckers. I just can't do it. If I know I got to go to a place every day and these people are fucking racist, I just won't work at the job. I've been homeless, so I'm not gonna recommend it to everybody. So, I walked out on jobs and not had nothing else left. But I just couldn't see myself purposefully doing things to make myself less black at a place where I plan to work at for at least a few years. Because if I have to do that, that lets me know the kind of people that they are. I just couldn't do it. I don't have that. I could never hold my head up and say I'm anything. If I had to sit up there and straighten my hair and change my name and, all the other shit you got to do, like, I can't, I'm not that person. I just want to work for you. Fuck you.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying about white people know who to hire, because, like, for example, if you were like a writer or whatever and you had that energy that you're talking about, they probably wouldn't hire you for that Ginny and Georgia show either. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
or if they did, they'd like regret it like fast. When they gave you that line, it's like, hey, can you give us a list of 20 ethnic dishes that are, kind of blackity black, and just get back to us? You probably we gotta put them in like Mad Libs. Just throw them in there.
Yeah.
They also eat chitlins. What about jollof rice? And then you wouldn't last. And she probably gave out some kind of, like, if she's saying that, why she's in the company, and do you want to work for a company that has people like, that's kind of the problem. A lot of the black people that are in these higher positions that should be the person looking out for you are giving you advice like that and perpetuating the anti-blackness themselves. That's the problem of black faces in high places. The black faces they choose are not on your side a lot of the time, or they want to mold you like them,
Especially in HR. Shit. Definitely.
Yeah, that's why the representation sucks.
But this is my whole thing. Like, when you go to work at a job, and this is how I think. When you go to work at a job, your job is to enhance and grow and progress that organization or that company, right? Or if you're an educator, you're supposed to expect to grow and enhance the minds of children. Like, you're there to do something, right? So if you have a job where you work for a company and your job is to advance this company, how can you hold your head up and call yourself a boss when you purposely went to work for some racists and help them become successful? Like, I don't see how you can do that. I'm not blaming you for, you got to work your jobs. I get that. But what I don't like is how she's making it out like it's some sort of almost a requirement, and it's not. I promise you, it's not. And I'm just one of those people. I can't fuck with that shit. I'd rather just be out of here. What are they talking about? Her company's asking for a lawsuit. She is.
Yeah. There's so many good comments. I'm just trying to cycle through them all. Being that I don't know the last story, I'll pass that over to you about Trick Daddy's son. I know nothing about it, so by all means, if you want to.
We'll talk about it tomorrow because it's pretty heavy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Weight loss and bullying his 11-year-old child about his weight, and then posting this online, a video.
Oh damn! But
it's pretty horrific. I don't want to show the video because it's not bad, but yeah.
Trick Daddy and Boosie are two of the most got no sense rappers when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
They need to be taken off of it.
So it's not what I want to talk about isn't even him. I mean, to some degree, because I know he's been through a lot in his life. I've listened to a lot of his interviews. Trick Daddy's not sane. Like, it's not even possible for all the shit that he's been through.
Let me guess. Give me a chance to guess, because I know how things go on social media, unfortunately. I bet there's a lot of black people going, y'all soft. That's good, what happened to his generation? That happened to me all the time. He should have kicked his ass while he was at it.
One lady said, this is just how men talk to each other. This is his
we
child.
need excuses for abuse so much. I hate
and
it.
if you're the parent, so we can talk about it tomorrow. Like, I probably want to go into it, and I don't think I'm gonna have to go. Or I have to go pretty much now. But yeah. So I'm with you though. Like, why would you with Kamaria? Why would you post that shit? You look fucking dumb. I don't know how to like. And she has these her hood ass eyelashes on with this scarf and shit. But
she looks ridiculous herself. What's funny is the way that she talks about those applicants, and she probably jokes. I bet you she jokes like that around the white people.
Oh, you know,
You know, Kenny always jokes about how they do more than they even ask them for. You know, she probably says, "Hey Ken, look at this name, Lucretia." Without even realizing, with those eyelashes and then everything, they probably talk like that about her behind her back, and she doesn't even realize it. Yeah,
you
she
know
thinks she's
it.
more like them.
Her hair changes every week. I'll go from short to long. You know they do that shit. They do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and probably doesn't even see it or laughs it off. Whatever. Don't get me started. I hate that whole video. All right, thanks for going. See, this is why sometimes I'd be afraid to go on with you because when I go on with you, I end up staying longer because I enjoy talking to you. So yeah.
I know. Oh wow, you said 15 minutes. It's hour 45 minutes.
Yeah. I just enjoy talking to you.
See, I'm a talker, man. You can't let me on here.
No, and I enjoy it too. So I just
I
throw
enjoy it
the
too.
Yeah.
No, I definitely enjoy it.
All right.
Thank you,
Take care.
everybody. Wait, make sure that you guys subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/champagne sharks. Make sure you subscribe here on Twitter and on what's this called? YouTube. All those places. Make sure that you subscribe. You can also Venmo and Cash App us at Champagne Sharks. If you want to donate and support the work that we're doing so we can continue to do this.
PayPal, champagnesharks@gmail.com. And the Twitch people complain that they don't get as much love as the YouTube people. So twitch.tv/champagne sharks is great too. As long as you follow us at YouTube or Twitch, we're happy.
And you guys need to be in the chat more, Twitch people. That's how you get more love. We gotta see you.
Yeah, for real. All right. Thank you, audience. Thank you, Vita. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. It'll be good.